First, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come here. It's kind of important to all of us, and you're really being a blessing to all of us, so thank you. Just want to talk about my dad a little. When we were young, he was always involved with us in activities. I remember he took us to baseball and to bowling. We were in bowling leagues, and he always seemed to be able to make time for that. He was also involved not just in taking us there, but in the management, the running of the teams, the behind-the-scenes things. So he didn't just take a secondary role. He used to make us elaborate birthday cakes. So we had birthday parties and things to share. He tried to make it special. I remember especially when Jeremy was born, we were kind of struggling, barely making ends meet. And Gail put together a list of things that she thought we needed for the baby shower. And Dad went out and bought all of the things on the list. So above and beyond anything that he had to do. I also especially remember he was always concerned that our children always had good dress clothes to wear when we went out. So he made it a point to keep sports coats and suits for the boys, and for Jeremy, for Tom and Tim, and also some nice dresses for Molly so that they could always be dressed up on the special occasions. When I was young, we started a tradition of opening our Christmas gifts after midnight. And I don't remember exactly how it started, but I remember we were in the choir at Sacred Heart Church, and they had a midnight Christmas Mass. And so we would go to the midnight Christmas Mass. After that, we'd come home, and then we started the gifts. And so that's how that late night gift giving started. Through the years, being together as a family was what was most important to Dad. He wanted to do what he could to make sure that we always spent time together. He always was very elaborate in the things that he did and the parties that he put together. And so I just carry those memories of my dad with me. Thank you.
Just want to talk about Dad's life a little bit. On Saturday, July 12th, 1924, a 21-year-old girl named Angie and a 23-year-old boy named Sam gave birth to their only son, Paul Anthony Burgo. When the nurse wiped the vernix from his face and he opened his eyes to look up at the sky for the first time, he saw a world starkly different from the one that he has just left behind. It was a world reeling from what had just been called the war to end all wars. The Great Depression, though looming, was still 5 years off, and aviators from the United States Army Air Service were on their way to becoming the first to circumnavigate the globe. Angie and Sam took their baby boy to their rented home at 92 Martin Street. It was just a stone's throw away from the pulsing Genesee River. Paul would later describe his young parents as rigid disciplinarians, and he would credit them with giving him the self-discipline from which he derived his renowned strength and character. And as years unfurled into decades, this strength and character would become the sturdy trunk from which his family would branch and bloom and grow, and he would burrow his roots deep for support, twisting and gnarling them under the strength of his will. In 1940, when France was poised to fall to the force of Hitler's armies while Americans hunkered down, apprehensive and waiting, miles away in Rochester, a 15-year-old Paul Anthony Burgo would become a certified operator of film projectors for Washington High School. This was a passion that eventually led him to the sprawling halls of Kodak, where he spent most of his adult life as an engineer and as an interpersonal relationship consultant. There, he would eventually lead and innovate and invent. Countries across the globe would award him letters patents for his creations of ultrasonic film splicers, transducers, and welders, photosensitive inspection apparatus, and more. They would send him abroad to Mexico to set up factories, and to Japan to prepare expert witness testimony. But every single day, he would come home to eat lunch with his wife. But first, At barely 20 years old and only just out of high school, he would witness the birth of a baby girl, Marie. She would be his princess, striking and beautiful, and forged from iron. And she would have equally beautiful and resilient daughters of her own. 2 sons, Paul David and Tom, would follow. He would see Tom marry a vivacious wife who was every bit his match, and he would live to see Tom become strong and loving and good. And he would watch as they raised 4 children of their own in his image, strong and loving and good. In 1974, Jungle Boogie and Bette Midler's The Way We Were topped the charts. And on a brisk Saturday afternoon, a few days after Christmas, the earth swaddled in snow, he would don his favorite powder blue double-breasted suit, and he would take the woman he loved and he would marry her. And together they would play music, and they would sing, and they would dance. And when they would dance, everyone would stop mesmerized to watch. And some respectable number of months later, they would have a daughter, Janine. She would be wide-eyed and precocious, insightful and strong. She would love him with a burning fierceness, and she would let that love course through her fingers, transformed into thunderous and heavenly music. And when she found someone insightful and wise for herself, he would stand beside her, and he would give him her hand. And years later, through the haze that would eventually envelop him, she would surprise him with a grandson, Pavel, and surprise him even more in the way she softened at Pavel's first touch. He would have another son, and he would teach him how to pick the ripest fruit, what is the difference from a flathead and Phillips, how to set your sights high. And he would wake him up in the morning and show him how to shave with the back of his electric razor. And then he would carry him to breakfast on the top of his shoulders, cackling, the king of the world, and the happiest a boy could ever be. He would bury his mother. But only months later, he would set off with his wife deep into South America, and they would return with a beautiful daughter with a full head of hair. And he would live to see his baby girl sprout, as if from nowhere, sudden, into a woman, imbued with his character, steadfast and loving, dependable and strong. He would bury his own father, but not before years of fighting to keep him independent and home. The heartache would send him to a hospital in Mexico, but he would quickly return home, and then only months after putting his father to rest, he would scoop up his family and bundle them off to the sun-drenched shores of Sicily, to the town where his father was born, to be embraced by far-flung relatives, therefore lost to posterity, now finally rejoined to his family tree. He would witness the birth of grandsons and granddaughters, and great-grandsons and great-granddaughters. The now many branches of the tree he had planted, reaching outward and upward and practically touching the sky. He would set off south once again, and he would bring back another daughter, and he would see her standing in awe of snowflakes, trying to catch them with her tongue. And he would see her have 2 children, and raise them firmly, but with tenderness. He would witness an unbearable death of a grandson. But then he would see the impossible, as the love of their family spread like sap over the torn-off branch, leaving a deep scar, but letting them blossom again. And he would grow sick, but he would not do it alone. His family would press fervidly to him, and surprised, find in themselves his own strength, and use it to buoy him home. And he would eventually pass. But thanks to the sheer force of the will that he gave to his family, it would be in his home, and his wife would be inches away by his side. And by then he had seen so much. He had seen his tree grow strong and surpass him, and his strength and goodness and love had burrowed deep within us. He had become part of us, and he could not be uprooted. He would have taught us through how he lived. He would have taught us lessons like, do your work first, then play. Pets are not allowed into the home under any circumstances. But if your daughter cries hard enough, maybe one hamster is okay. If you think that one died, when she goes away, buy her a new one. And if several pets later, one of your large flock of chinchillas gets lost, dismantle the entire house to find it. I'll quote a writing I found with this. Self-discipline is necessary to accomplish many things, but on the other hand, be extremely grateful for the benefits of tender love and care as displayed by your wife. It can make you less rigid with your children so that you can see them accomplish marvelous things and become children that anyone would be proud of. No feeding cats at the table, unless you can do it secretly. I'll quote him again. Extreme sensitivity can be considered a weakness, particularly if sensitivity leads to a feeling of being hurt easily. Recognition of this fact is a strength. I'll note, however, he preceded this by writing, I am an extremely sensitive person. Another lesson. Family is everything. It can carry you through many long years, through generations. From the banks of the Genesee River on Martin Street to the woods on Oakview Drive and the house that you built and laid down. Be its strong trunk from which everything can grow, and it can lift you up, and it can get you through everything, even this. But I think his greatest lesson can be boiled down to the following. And I'm just going to let him